Welcome to the Notary Educators with Kimmi Podcast. Hosts Kimmi and Jeff Nunnally, along with Alexis Franklin, share expert insights to help you launch and grow a successful mobile notary business no matter what state you are commissioned in. Learn how to become a top-notch loan signing agent and get answers to common notary questions. Explore our all-inclusive $47 monthly training library, plus live weekly online coaching sessions with courses on general notary work, wedding efficient services, remote online notary, ink fingerprinting, apostille, translation services, and I-9 completion. Notary Educators, LLC is your one-stop shop for notary training. Tune in to the Notary Educators with Kimmi podcast and subscribe to the Notary Educators with Kimmi's YouTube channel also for more tips. Take your notary business to new heights.
Educators with Kimmi. I'm your host, number one notary educator, Kimmi Nunnally. How's it going? I train notaries to know what they're actually doing before they start going out there and stamping those papers. Some people say, well, there's a whole lot more to being a notary than stamping a paper. Guess what? That's why they're hiring you to stamp that paper. So if you don't know how to do it correctly, you need to call me. Check out NotaryEducatorsLLC.com for all things notary, though. For those of you who may be new, again, I train notaries nationwide, and not just know how to stamp the paper, but how to get the bag, right? Because you got to know how to price your services. You got to know what services to offer, et cetera, et cetera. So anyway, I just want to say hello and welcome to those who will watch the replay, those who will listen to the podcast. And today we're just going to do a little story time. I am here answering questions. Happy Sunday, Angela. What's up? Andrea. Shout out to Andrea. She did a job for me yesterday. I appreciate it. I actually had double booked myself. I always got a story, but we'll start with that one. That's not what I came on here to talk about, but since Andrea popped on and she helped me out really quick. So yesterday, Andrea is also a part of mentorship. So that's how I was able to use her because I know she knows what she's doing. As I mentioned on my live the other day, I do not just hand out work to anybody. I do not just call a body to go and do my work. Hey, Lori, welcome. Lori, I do not just hire anybody to do my jobs. So I'm very selective. That's why I don't have a signing company. I don't. Could I have another stream of income? Sure. But I cannot just trust anybody with my documents. So I'm a little OCD like that. So I know that Andrea is trained. Andrea knows what she's doing. So I felt very comfortable in her taking over the job for me. I had actually double booked myself. I had a client, and take gems, y'all. Take some notes because everything is always a story. It's something to learn. Learn from me so you don't do this. And I'm still human. I'm running a notary business. I'm running an educational space too. So I got a lot going on. So anyway, with this particular client, I had a loan modification coming at 3:30 yesterday. The appointment I gave Andrea was at 4. So I hadn't heard back from my 3:30. Looking at my phone for my notes and everything about him, because he was a repeat client, could not find anything. So I was like, oh my God, is he even still coming? So again, I had kind of double booked, and that's when I was like, well, you know what? I'd already told the first client, he wanted me to come at 1 o'clock. And I was like, no, I can't make 1 o'clock, but I can do 4. And then after I thought about it, I said, no, I can't do the 4 o'clock because I need Jeffrey to be my witness for the 3:30 if he shows up. Sure enough, around 3:15, he says, hey, am I still coming today at 3:30? So fortunately, I had already outsourced the first job to Andrea. And some notes that you can take and gems away from that is be more organized than I was in that situation. Typically, I'm very organized. I try to write my client's name in the appointment that I make for them. I don't let people get on my calendar automatically. I know there's an app for that, Calendly and all these different things. Square has a scheduler also, but I don't like clients to get on my calendar without me making the appointment. I want to know what the appointment is. I want to know what we're talking about. I want to know what kind of documents they have. I want to make sure they're in agreement with the fee. So I don't just let people schedule themselves onto my calendar, okay? Not to mention things happen where it's like, okay, I thought I was going to work today from 4 to 6, but I changed my mind. I need to close at 3, you know? So again, I'm really kind of particular and in control of my calendar in that way. But this time I just forgot to write some crucial information, because if I had the info, I could have texted my client when I got the call at 1 o'clock and said, hey, I can't help you till 4:30, because it would have took me at least 20 minutes to get there. So anyway, it all worked out. Andrea made some money, another notch in her belt. I still look like the hero, because the client is going to call me back initially if they need something, because they'll never forget, oh, she couldn't do it, but she referred me to somebody. I have that happen all the time. So I always try to encourage that the other notary is not your competitor, okay? In a sense, yes, we are competitors. Let's not get it twisted, right? However, we have to work together, because I cannot do all the jobs. Andrea cannot do all the jobs. You know, everybody in this area, they can't do everything. So we have to work together. And that shows the network and teamwork. Teamwork makes the dream work. So my client, like I was saying, I don't have to worry, well, he's going to call Andrea next time. And if he does, so be it. She went and helped him. She established a relationship. Great. But he's never going to forget that Kimberly is the one that initially put them in touch. And I do that all day when I have to leave town. If I am in the doctor's appointment or whatever, and I have to refer work out to Angela, our old trainer that was with us, I refer work to her and they still call me first. Same thing with her. She may say, I can't do it, and then she sent it to me, but she is their notary. I am their notary, you know, and that's the kind of relationships eventually you want to have with your clients, where no matter what happened, they may go see somebody else today, but they coming back to you tomorrow, okay? All right, let's get some of your comments. And then I do have another story, the reason I came on here. Angela says, that's not OCD, that's being careful. Thank you, honey, because I be thinking, am I a little bit extra? I know I am, but hey, Donna Black, how are you? She's saying good afternoon to everyone. Everyone saying hello to each other. Quite a few in mentorship here. Hey, Christina, what's up? What's up? Yeah, Lori's telling Andrea she did a great job. I don't know what this is. Let's see. Oh, another moderator just handled this. I don't know what they're doing on YouTube. I hope I didn't block everybody's comments. I hope I did not. Let's see. Next time we're not going to do that. Another moderator just handled it. Yeah, I don't know what this is. Somebody, oh, I can see y'all comments. Okay, there we go. Message automatically held for review. Deleted. Okay, sorry about that, y'all. You know this modern technology. So anyway, I'm going to take some of your questions, but let me tell y'all my other story. And I got the chat all caught up, and I can't see what you're saying, so go ahead and comment, okay? So my other story was, really quick, I got a message while I was worshiping this morning. Text message came in, and the message says, hey, I have 8 documents that have already been signed. They're a car dealership. They wanted to know, is that going to be a problem because the clients already signed the documents? Okay. So I just put this over in our group chat. Yeah, that's a problem. So when he first sent me the message, I already knew where he was going with that, right? He must have sold some vehicles, and now they all signed off on the titles and stuff. But now, in order for him to get the car registered with the DMV, it has to be notarized. So, okay, I'll play along. So I asked him, I said, hey, so I said, are these clients, I said, whose signature needs to be notarized, yours or the client's? He was like, the client's. I said, oh, okay. So like I said, I've been doing this a long time, so I already knew where he was going with that. So he said, I said, well, no. I said, I won't be able to notarize it for them. They have to be standing in front of me. He said, oh, okay. So I don't think this was his first rodeo. I think if he found somebody that was willing to say, oh, he got 8 documents, let me go ahead and do this, they were going to do it. You know what I mean? But the kids don't get down like that. You have to already, the client has to appear before me in my state. Now, if your state rules say something different, you might could have made some money on 8 documents, okay? But in my case, they have to appear before me. So that's a no-go, okay? So just be cautious out there. People will ask you to do different things. And just because they ask, do not mean you have to. That is your notary commission to protect. Okay, just because, again, someone say, hey, can you do such and such? You will not get in trouble with your state. What's going to get you in trouble is if you do something and you're not supposed to do it. Lori generously put something in the chat the other day about, hit the like button for me, guys. Thank you. Lori recently put something in chat the other day about a notary in Nebraska, I think it was. And the person in Nebraska, hey Rashante, how you doing? The person in Nebraska notarized something that needed to have another person to watch them notarize it. It was something regarding electoral vote or something. So that notary got in trouble. They, I guess, had already put it before a judge. The first judge was like, I can't remember if they said yay or nay. I just don't remember. But regardless, the second judge was like, no, a notary is going to be accountable. Someone's heads are going to roll for what happened. Okay, especially you dealing in politics. I don't care what the document is, though. We are not just notarizing something because someone asked us to, okay, or not because of the money either. Because when I first saw 8 documents, I went, oh, jackpot on a Sunday, money Sunday. You know, hey Mocha Pam, what's up? But hey Notary fam, it's Kimmi. I am here to let you know, just in case you have not heard about the Notary Business Coaching Success Program. We meet weekly. We talk about your notarial duties, how to do an acknowledgement, how to do a jurat, how to administer an oath, everything you've been asking for. And guess what else is included? Unlimited access to all of my trainings that will also include ink fingerprinting, trust/estate documents. Learn how to properly execute a trust. Don't forget, we also have the private community, like-minded notaries who have been trained by me. Check out my book that I've written for each state, How to Start Your Notary Business in Alabama, California. You get the point. Wherever you're located, there's a book for your state. Well, hopefully I'll see you soon over in training. Notary Educators, LLC. We got you covered. Bye. No, I don't care how much money is involved. We are not just doing that, okay? So let's talk about the mentorship program. I get a lot of questions. I'm going to answer a few of them for you here now. For years, people have been saying, Kimmi, I need mentorship. I need you to mentor me. Can you mentor me? Well, how much does mentorship cost? And I was like, ooh. So what I realized very quickly when people said mentorship, they did not really mean they wanted to be taught how to do the business. They didn't want to learn the information for themselves. What they initially were asking is, can you do my business for me? Can I call you at any time and you tell me if I can accept this expired ID? Can I call you anytime and you can tell me what color logo I should have? That's what people meant when they were saying mentorship years ago when I first started, okay? Now, I didn't redefine mentorship, but I redefined it what it was going to be for me in order to help people, okay? And it took me years to come up with a mentor program. So people would say, so some of the questions I get are, let's go back to what is the mentorship program? So again, people always ask me, can I mentor them? So what I came up with was, it took years to come up with it. It took years, okay? So my mentor program works like this. There are over 16 courses. There are the replays, that live weekly sessions, and you can attend those, which are included in mentorship. You have everything notarized like a pro, the estate package, estate/trust, specialty notary work, and fingerprinting, field inspection. There is a remote online notary course. Every single thing you need in order to start your business, literally, okay, and to grow your business. To be a great notary. Those courses are the real deal. They're not watered down. Those are my courses that were a part of my $500 plus package. So now you can watch them all, and receive mentorship for $47 a month at the time of this recording. And we meet weekly, and we also have a live chat. So a lot of times you hear me on here, I'm asking the mentees, I'm like, what's going on over in the chat? Because I get an alert when people need some help, or either they have a question about something. So a lot of times I'll push back. So how does mentorship work in Notary Educators? So I've given you what the program looks like. How do I help you? What I hope is you watch the videos. As you're going through them, you're going to be learning how to be a notary. You're going to have some questions. That's where I come in live, myself, one of the team members, and we will answer those questions for you if you're live on an assignment, because now we're at the stage where a lot of people are taking assignments. And if they get stuck out there, we'll help them. But if you have a basic question and we have a little time, I'm going to push back and I'm going to say, hey, well, what does this say? What does that say? I want you to learn how to think. And that's lacking today, okay? Now we can just pick up Chat GPT. Critical thinking skills are lacking. They're gone. We're not even taught that anymore. You got a problem to solve? Ask Chat GPT. Hey, how do I bake this cake? Hey, ChatGPT, I made a mistake and didn't put eggs in here. What else can I use? Hey, Google. Hey, Siri. Right? Well, in the notary business, it's not that easy. It's not complicated, but you need to know what you are doing. Okay? You have to know what you're doing. And you have to learn how to think outside the box. Okay? Everything is not going to be crystal clear. Your notary handbooks, which I always recommend you have, that's the number one thing I teach. It doesn't cover everything. Matter of fact, the notary handbook don't cover an nth of what you're going to see in the real world. Does anybody's notary handbook right now cover how to handle 8 people that's not standing in front of you and somebody texts you on a Sunday morning with a tempting offer? No, you just have to know your business. You have to know your craft, okay? So that's what we do at Notary Educators. So at the time of this recording, again, it's $47 per month. You can cancel at any time. Common question I get. Do I have to pay annually? No, I know that is very popular nowadays. From a business perspective, yes, that is great when you can get somebody to pay annually. I don't even want you paying annually, so I don't even offer that option because you may not be able to stick with the program. You may outgrow the program. You may not need the program, okay? You may realize that I don't want to be a notary. So we're not going to be refunding money, going back and forth and all that. Month to month. And it's an amazing program. People do join. They do stay long term. So it may be something in the future that I'll offer, maybe next year as we continue to grow. Because it's not just let me learn the business. I don't need mentorship anymore. The mentorship program well exceeds the price. Okay. Anytime you get stuck on an assignment, you got real life people to help you. Okay. Let me get a couple comments and then we'll go over a couple more comment questions. Rashante says, I can't wait to get commission so I can join her for the mentorship program. Yes, get the commission first, and then we'll be more than happy to have you, Rashante. Because I always say, don't get no car, and you ain't no driver's license. So the mentorship program will be similar to having a car, but you don't have your license. You don't have your commission, okay? And actually, it's a notary commission, not license, okay? So don't come for me in the comments. Your girl knows the difference, okay? You are commissioned by your state. Sabrina says, no, she can't do 8 documents and the person is standing in front of her. Very good, Sabrina. Lori says the program is fantastic. Come and join us. Thank you, Lori. I appreciate it. Yeah, so Rashanti's laughing. Yeah, so once you get your commission, feel free to come back and join us. So a couple of other questions I get all the time. Let's go back to the cancellation thing. So as long as you cancel, so say your payment is due on the 16th every month, as long as you cancel before the 16th, it's like any other mentorship. Notary Educators mentorship program is no different than Netflix or anybody else. For some reason, people always forget, how do I cancel? The same way you signed up. You go into your profile and just change your payment options or whatever. You can leave at any time. We are not holding anybody hostage, okay? We don't have to. We're not going to, so don't worry about that. What else do I get all the time? Oh, do I have to come to the live sessions? You do not have to come to the live sessions. However, I highly recommend it. I highly recommend it. I find my people that come to the live sessions now, no shade to those that don't come, because I'm going to tell you a story really quick. But I find that those that come to the live session do accelerate a little bit faster in the program. They start taking jobs quicker, you know. But I have a couple people, they be walking in silence now. I don't even know what they doing. They watching them courses and taking jobs. I know that. So one day I had asked everybody, I said, hey, can y'all leave me a review on Notary Educators page? So somebody left this beautiful stellar review and I'm reading it and they put their initials AB. And I was like, I said, who is AB? Because we have another AB in the course. So I know that one, but this one I did not. And I said, who is this? And because they was like, I had 2 signings last night and da-da-da and all this. And I was like, I said, who is this? Plus they left an excellent review. So funny. So I said, so she told us who she was. I said, girl, I said, you got to tell us who you are so we can celebrate you. You know, I want you. She's walking in silence, like I said, doing her thing over there. And next thing I know, she's watching the courses and doing jobs and getting the thing done, okay? And there are those students too. So I love those kind of students. But then all of a sudden, one day she just popped up over in our group chat. And a lot of people just listen over there. They may not actually participate, but they taking notes, okay? So that's another training option for you too. If somebody else is asking your question, that's the reason we do that way. So, short version, when I decided to roll out the mentor program, my first thing was, hey, I'm just going to let people watch the videos, right? No access to me or the team. And that went very well. They were like, wait, I can watch all the videos for $39.99. And then I got to thinking about it. I said, you know what? I really want people to win this year. And the only way they're going to really win this year is if they have access. You got to have access. We got to be able to talk you through what you have learned. And it's been working out very well. You know, a lot of people say, well, Kimmi, it's cheap. It's not cheap. I'm making it affordable for everybody. Because in 2025, I'm not kidding. I want everybody to win. If you want to win at this notary thing, we got you. Okay? I can not put the knowledge in your head, just cut your head open like surgery and drop it in there, or by osmosis or any of that. You have to do the work. But if you do the work, the people are winning. Okay? Everybody's circumstances are different. Some people in school, some people work full-time, some people work part-time. And I got another person, she been taking all kind of jobs. I didn't know she was taking all these jobs till one day we were talking. She was like, oh yeah, I take $30. I take $50 because them checks be rolling through the mail. Every day you go to your mailbox and you got $50, $30. How would you feel? So a lot of times people are like, I don't want to take that job. It's only $30. It's only $50. It's only $40. What? Now, I teach you always to counter once you get a little experience. Now, your first one or two, you don't know what you're doing. Take that $30 job and just learn something. But now if you do 2 or 3, you can ask for more money, right? So that being the case, I got one person, like I said, and people don't have to tell us what they're doing. They do not. But it's just encouraging for everybody else. So there's one other person I'm finding out, she's taking all kind of jobs. And I was like, and they're the smaller price jobs. They're the 30, 40, 50. She said, yeah, because every day I go to my mailbox, I got $30. I got $50. And that money add up. And I was like, get it, girl, okay? Get it. So I did that eventually. When I first started, I was watching YouTube. I'm like everybody else. And I was like, I ain't taking that job. I said, they told me I should be making $150 an hour, and I ain't doing nothing under $150. At that time, it was like $150. I ain't doing nothing under $150. So I'm sitting here one day, phone going crazy with alerts. Beep, 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 beep. Signing notifications coming from all over the place. And one day I said, well, you're just sitting here. You don't have nothing. Try it. I started taking them $30 jobs. And like my friend was saying, my other person in mentorship, I'm calling her everything. Try not to say her name. But I felt like her. Every day I'm getting $30, $30, $60, $90. And I was like, ooh, because at that time I would do like 4 or 5 a day. Yeah. That was back in the heyday when things were going crazy with refis and loan mods and everything was just popping. So I was getting my money, y'all. Let's see. Robin says, hey, Robin, how are ya? Freedom in the details. Every moment matters. I love that. Had to fill in for somebody running children's church, but I'm here and I've been listening. Oh, welcome. What's up, Lisa? Happy Sunday. Hey, Hyra. How are you? How's it going? Hey, Aquarius, mommy. Hey. So I wanted to tell you one more thing about mentorship with the chat. So that's why we actually start all questions over there. Hey, Charmaine, what's up? What's up? That's why we start all questions, though, over in the chat. So sometimes people are like, well, I'm paying my money. I should be able to talk to you. You're paying $47, one, which includes everything, right? I still cannot physically call every single person all day, every day, but we do call you if we need to. But we always start all questions over in the chat. Why? Because each one teach one. So as you're asking your question, your friend has the same question. Thank you, Hyra. Hyra says mentorship is the best. Thank you. I appreciate it. But you guys put the work in. So it's not, I'm great. I think y'all, you guys are great too. Because you're doing the work for real. You're doing the work. So when I push back and ask a question, I'm not trying to be funny, but I need you to put the question in the chat first. And if I have to call you, everybody on this call that's part of mentorship will tell you, hey, they will call you. Because I've had to call just about everybody on here and say, hey, maybe one person not, but just about everybody else, hey, what's going on? You know, we need to get this job together. We're following up to make sure you're completing your assignments. Last night, one of our people had a problem. trying to do a scan back. So the mentorship is worth its weight in gold. I mean, I know it's the best thing out there. So it took me a minute to put number one in front of it. I knew it was, but when you know. So I know it's the best one out there now. So I could put it out there. Number one mentorship program. Thank you, Lord. Hit the like and subscribe, people. So Freedom in the Detail says, would anyone like to share their experience of how they first put their name out there and got their first few jobs? Thanks. Yeah, I'll tell you about me, and somebody else can feel free to hop in the chat. But first of all, Freedom in the Details, do you know what you're doing as far as notarizations? I must know that. Are you trained? Do you feel confident? Because did you get your commission and just think you're going to start getting jobs? That will always be my first question. Now, to answer your question, how did I get my first job? Again, I made sure I was properly ready to go. My Google business page is ready. I signed it with signing companies. I signed it with signingorder.com. Paid $2.99 per month. That's how you get access to more signings. What else? Make sure my signing agent profile with the NNA is correct. Make sure you are NNA certified, background checked with the NNA. So there are a few steps before you can just start getting jobs. Everybody always want to know, how do I just start getting jobs? How do I just start getting jobs? It's more to it than just how do I start getting jobs. It's a process. We're building businesses. And that takes time. It takes effort. It takes energy. It even takes money, because I got somebody right now, they were like, hey, a couple people need to get their printers. Well, you can't do signing agent work and you don't have a printer. You got to have at least something. Now, some people will go to Office Depot. Some people go to Staples. You don't have to have a dual tray, because you can always use Notary Rotary page sorter, which is free. You can always use that, but you got to have a printer if you want to do long signing work. Now, you don't need a printer for general notary work. And even for general notary work, sometimes your clients are going to say, hey, can you print that for me? And that's just an additional service. But that's not a big deal if you can't print in general notary work, because they were not expecting you to. If you can, it's an added bonus. Excuse me. I just had something to eat, actually, before I came on here. So I'm going to show y'all my books right quick. Just so for those of you who may be new, also wanting to find out how to start your business. Every state has their own book. So this is Indiana, Florida, and Georgia, but all 50 have their own book, each state. So you don't have to put in the comments, is there a book for my state? There's a book for your state. There's a book for your state. Okay. Then we have recently released is How to Become a Notary Signing Agent. Bam! This book is actually doing very well. People are loving the information. How to become a notary signing agent. I go over some things to avoid at the signing table. How to become a signing agent. What it looks like as far as the money is concerned. How to solve some problems. How to market. Actually, everything you need to know. Boom. How to become a signing agent. And guess what? It's not that complicated. So we got that. And then we also recently released, I don't know if you saw the journals. They are freaking amazing, if I must say so myself. So this is our little futuristic car for our guys. We got the snow leopard print. We got the butterfly. And everybody going crazy about this purple. Hot pink is coming soon. I got a hot pink on the website. So to look at all of them right now, the collection consists of 10 different journals. And this is everybody's other favorite. Booyah. The puppy and the cat. I like that one too. So I'm releasing a couple new ones. They are coming out very soon. But for the whole collection, you can look over at NotaryEducatorsLLC.com under Notary Educators, under the number one notary journal collection. Then you could go for mentorship over there too. Check that tab out. And I had a question the other day about, oh, we got a lot of comments. Hold on, I'm about to get these comments. Then we had a question the other day. Somebody said, well, how can I get your journal? I want to get your journal, Kimmy, but can I have two? We talked about this in depth too. Typically, you should be working out of one journal. So if you decide you want to get one of these cute new fly journals, which I highly recommend it. Okay, I highly recommend it. But in that journal, it's really created for notaries, for real, because it's created by your number one notary extraordinaire, right? So it's a place for you to put your number of stamps. It's a place in there for you to put the state fee versus your travel fee. Okay. Who's your signing company? There's a space for all those type of things. I included a jurat, basic sample questions that you need to be asking every client. So all of that's included in the journal. Very nicely done, I might say. And so anyway, if you decide you want to use this journal, though, all you would do is in your other journal, put an end date. I even have that in this journal, beginning date, end date. Put an end date when you stopped using it, boom, and then just start with the new one. That's it. You can lose your journal, so it's not a big deal to change out your journal. It's just not. You don't have to wait till you fill that one up and then get a second one. You just put an end date, boom, move on to the next one, okay? You don't typically want to be working out of 2 or 3 journals. I did give this illustration the other day, though. In the event you are what I call a work notary, where you have your commission and everything, your job paid for it. In that case, you will have 2 journals because you have one at work. Say, for example, you work at Bank of America. They're not going to let you take that journal with all their $1 million clients in there home with you so you can notarize Joe Blow's school note. That journal belongs to the company, right? Yes. Can you say yes? So you have to get your own journal for your private. So that's the only way I would recommend that you have 2. And again, that's going to be based on your state. Now, let's just keep it 100, or what they say, $1. Hey, most states don't even require you to have a journal. Okay. Let's just keep it real. You don't even have to have a journal. So if you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, well, you're doing better than most people because they own none. However, if you've been with me any length of time, you already know you're going to have a journal. That's how we get down. All right, let's get these comments. Hyra says, and we learn from each other. Yes. Mocha Pam says, I'm already learned. I am ready to learn, but also scared. Yes, that's why you need mentorship, so you can overcome that fear. Let's help you, Pam. Let's get it. I'm telling you, everybody in the chat telling you too, girl, don't be scared. We got you. Lori says, it is okay to be scared, and you do want a little fear there, because if not, you get out there willy-nilly notarizing 8 documents and you're not supposed to, like today. And Lori says, I was too, and I'm still a bit nervous, but she does it anyway. I did the work to get the training, engage in mentoring, and my confidence has increased. Yes, Lori is doing her thing. Lori had a job the other day. It was so amazing. I was so proud of her. Lori did that, okay? Mocha's just thanking Lori. Everybody's thanking Lori for the comments. And that's great to know, says Sabrina. Good. Okay. So what else do we have today? What else is going on? For me today, I am open. Are you guys open today? Today is Sunday. Today is Sunday. I don't know when you might be watching this in the future, but today is actually Sunday. I typically don't date the videos like that, but are you open today? I'm just curious, because I'm open till 8 o'clock. I open 8 to 8 every day. Every day. And people are like, Kimmi, you work on Sundays? I sure do. I want to eat on Sunday. Are you open on Sunday? You know, and that's sometimes the difference that makes the difference between having a productive and a notary business that make money and one that doesn't. If you only work 9 to 5, right? You work 9 to 5. Everybody else work 9 to 5. I need to be available when people are off. Lori says she's open. Yeah, I need to be available. It's a service-based business. So I don't get the luxuries like what I did when I worked at the bank. And I used to work at the bank. I worked at the bank for 20 years. When I worked at the bank, then I would have all those days off. All them holidays, working 9 to 4. I had banker's hours. I don't know if y'all old enough to remember that. But they used to call it banker's hours, you know. Because the bank, people work at the bank had good hours. I had banker's hours. Now I'm a service-based notary business owner, aka notary boss. So yeah, your girl is open 7 days a week. 7 days a week. That is no joke. I am working. I'm about to do a TikTok. Not TikTok, IG. I think I'm gonna put on TikTok too. But yeah, I'm working. I am working. I'm open. I don't have a client right this second, clearly, because I'm over here, but I don't be playing. So Lori says she's open. Angela says Sunday, but appointment. Yeah, anything I do, Angela, is by appointment only. You cannot just roll up on me. I've had it happen like 3 times during my whole notary business. I'm like, who is that? So I'll be outside on my porch out here. I created a little porch during COVID. And I had it built like some pavers so I could sit out, put some chairs out there. It's cute. I liked it. Me and my mom enjoyed it. especially during COVID, like I was saying. And this guy rolled up one day. He was like, I'm looking for the notary. I'm looking for the notary. And I was like, we ain't got no appointment. My mother said, are you expecting someone? I said, no. But I don't be mean when they come because it's very rare, but I'm very clear by appointment only. And that's every day of the week. Because I don't know if I'm going to be here. I might have another appointment I need to go do. So I'm strictly by appointment only too. And people don't like that. But I don't care. And they make an appointment, they still may not come. They act like you're supposed to just be on call for them. No, and no. I'm sitting here looking at the side of my couch. It's got emergency bags. It's got junk on the side of my couch. So it's irritating me. Mm-hmm. Lisa says she's open every day too. Yes, Lisa, get your money. Angela says, I remember as a state employee, I'm off all of the major holidays. Yes, bankers hours, state hours. And it used to be so funny. I'm with my friends. I'm like, oh, duh. I said, that's right. It's a holiday. They're like, what holiday? I'm like, President's Day, Veterans Day, MLK Day. That's not, it's a federal holiday, but not everyone recognizes that one. My husband's company did not. They used to get a float holiday. So it wasn't, they were not closed, but they got an additional day off that they could take. So those days are over for me. And I realize that, I have a choice. I can go back and get my banker's hours and they tell me when I'm going to be off. They tell me everything, right? Or I set my own schedule now. Now, for me and my business, I'm open 7 days a week. Now, I have some friends, they don't work on Sundays, and they're very clear. I asked one day, I said, so you don't work on Sundays? Nope. I said, hey, can you do this job? Nope. And they meant it. So I never asked again. Because I know they're serious about their Sundays. Okay. You can afford to do that. I cannot. And honestly, I could afford to close on Sundays probably. I could afford to close on Sundays. But I like what I do. If it's something I can't do, like for example, I was supposed to have something going on and I decided I wanted to go to my friend's house, right? And they were doing a barbecue or whatever. And I was like, I didn't close my business on Google. I rarely close on Google. What I do is I have somebody on standby for me. So I got like 3 or 4 people that if I cannot do the job, I can call them or send a text to my client and say, hey, I'm not available. You can check with such and such, so I don't just ever close my business. I've had my business now for 6 years on Google. Let me see, 5 to 6. Yeah, about 5 to 6. I've never just closed, like shut it down. Never. If I'm gone for a week, I can be gone for 2 weeks. Whatever. If I'm not here, I never close. I just always let the people still call me and then I refer it out to my client. Now, what I will do, I don't close on Google, but on my voicemail, when people call me, I may say I'm out of the office from April 1st to April 7th, something like that on my voicemail, and leave them a option to call somebody else because I don't want my Google algorithm to be suffering any kind of way. I've not tried it. Okay. I've not tried to shut it down for a month or a week or 2 or whatever. But I just don't. I never have. So if I can't do it for whatever reason, it's going on my voicemail. And I just tell the people my Google gonna stay active. Angela says, yes, Juneteenth, especially. They don't celebrate Juneteenth, but that gives everybody an extra day too. That's a float day. Most places are not closed on Juneteenth. Very good. Let's see here. We got Andrea says that's what we get, 6 floaters. Yeah, look, Andrea's like yesterday. Yeah, so me and my husband been doing this full time together now for 3 years. Coming up on 3 full time together. Prior to that, I was doing it part time, and then it went full time because I worked at Children's Healthcare of Atlanta for 8 years. So when I started my notary business, I would be at work because Sunday, I told y'all before, I'm a weekend girl. I like them weekend hours because I like that shift diff. So I used to work on the weekends. It was nothing for me to work holidays, evenings, weekends. Clearly, your girl don't have a life, right? It wasn't that I don't have a life, but one, that's when I would maximize and make most of my money. One, and two, if I wasn't traveling or something, why not? I don't have any children. My mom lived with me during COVID before I lost her. My dad was sick or whatever. So, we hung out together. That was what I was doing, helping my parents for years. So that was replacing my thing with the children. Everybody got something they got to deal with. And I enjoyed it, every second of it. I wouldn't trade it for the world. But I am that person. I didn't mind working evenings, weekends, holidays. Whatever you need, I got you. Now I'm only going to do it when I want to do it, but I didn't mind the off hours. Plus, I hate Atlanta traffic. I'm outside of Atlanta. I hate Atlanta traffic. So I didn't mind getting off at 11 at night. I'd rather go in 6 to 11 than be in there all day. Get there at 7 in the morning. Got to get up at 4 o'clock to get it. I couldn't stand it. So for me and my notary business, I work similarly. It's nothing for me. Now I'm open from 8 to 8. However, I don't usually take my first appointment till 11. For me, I'm not a morning person. I did that already. I'm a night person. You can come to me at 9, 10 o'clock at night. We got an appointment. But I don't want to get up early. So for those early birds, some people open as early as 6. If you open at 6, that gives you a chance to get business that I won't get, right? You close at 5. I get that evening business. And at one time I was closing at 5 for a moment. And Alexis, the other trainer with us, and my niece also, for those who didn't know. Alexis was like, Auntie, you leaving money on the table. She said the nurses get off at 7 and they need people all day long. So especially where she lives at, she's near a hospital. So she's getting a lot of nurse calls. So she said, you leaving money on the table closing at 5. And I said, you know what? Let me change my hours. So I did. So your girl is open 8 to 8 every day. Again, I typically make my first appointment, if I can, around 11. If they cannot accommodate, or if they don't want to wait for me till 11, I'll get them somebody else. Because like I said, I got a couple people, they like to work early. So Robin says, I work at a bank right now. I can't wait to fire my boss and be a full-time notary. Robin, I loved working at the bank, though. I did. I worked at SunTrust for 10 years, now called Truist. I was there for 10. And I also worked at National Bank of Detroit for 10 years. I loved working at the bank. I love working at Children's Healthcare of Atlanta, the hospital, for 8 years. And now I love being my own business owner. I really do. I work harder, guys. I ain't gonna lie. And you hear people say this all day long. It's facts. I work much harder doing my own business than I ever did working at the hospital. Matter of fact, the reason I went back to the bank, I had a daycare in between one of my jobs. I had a daycare for 4 years. And one day I was like, I had to get the kids every day from 2 to 6:30. I only kept after school kids. I didn't keep babies. Only after school. So I helped them with their homework. I gave them a snack, et cetera, right? And one day I was like, shoot, you can go back to the bank and work 3 days and get benefits and 401k plan. Duh. So that's what I did. So I closed down the daycare, went back to work. I went back to the bank. I worked for 3 days. I worked 3. So I went to one branch. They hired me based on working 3 days. So I get there, first day on the job. It might have been first week. I'll give them the first week. But it was within that first week. So they promised me the world. They was like, yeah, we're going to let you work this. You can work Monday, Wednesday, Friday. You can have weekends off, whatever, right? I get there and he goes, and I'll never forget it, in that expression too. You know how certain things are like triggers for you? So he goes, yes, Kimberly, I know we spoke about this on the interview, but now we need to go in a different direction. Oh, really? And I'm sitting there thinking, what's the direction? He said, we got to go in a different direction. Yeah, we'll need you to work every other Saturday. Excuse me? That is not what we agreed upon. They did all this rolling out the red carpet trying to get me there. And then as soon as I get there, then they lied. That's a straight up lie. We ain't going in no different direction. You lied. Okay. And I got a feeling they kind of knew what they needed when they hired me, but I wasn't going to take the job working weekends. I was done with weekends at that point. I did go through that phase too, y'all. I did. And that was at the bank. I was like, no more weekends. That's it. No more. So I got this job Monday, Wednesday, Friday till I get there. And like I said, we're going in a different direction. Okay, where are you going? So that direction wasn't working for me. I'll never forget, he called me in his office, him and the assistant manager. Yeah, we got to go in a different direction. Oh, really? So anyway, I was like, unfortunately, I can't do that. And that's not what we agreed upon because your girl didn't play. I don't know where I got off thinking I could just say whatever. And I was always very professional, always professional. But I always stood my ground. I said what I meant. I meant what I said when it came to work. If you told me we're going to do this is what we're going to do. Okay? And I'm very flexible, but when it came to my scheduling of my hours at work, that's one place I never play around. And I could be kind of real gentle, like real sugar on top kind of person all the time, but that's one area where I tell a manager in a minute, no, that's not what we talked about. You told me this, right? So I don't know where that comes from. I think that's coming from being spoiled a little bit just with my parents, quite frankly. That's a whole nother conversation for another day, probably another channel. But yeah, I didn't play at work. I did not. And I had a reputation. You would think I didn't even need my job. But that's one thing I did learn too. I'm going to tell y'all this. And then we're going to move on. I'll tell you what happened with the job too. One thing I did learn, if you let people treat you any kind of way at work though, and you can need your job more than anybody in the room. But if you act like you need your job and you what's that word? Kind of like begging them, kind of bending over, doing whatever they want. Like if they beck and call, they're going to treat you like that. That's one thing I learned. So I could have needed my job more than anybody up in there, but they would never have known it. They would never know it. So you don't have to be disrespectful, but you have to teach people how you want to be treated. Okay. That's the point. You have to teach people how you want to be treated sometimes. And at the end of the day, when they get ready to get rid of you, you gone. I mean, we've seen that. It's nothing new. It's just amplified now because of TikTok. I watched this guy, Orlando, mine or something, and he's real loud. Y'all probably seen him before. He's like, 20,000 people got laid off. I told y'all don't nobody care about you. He's loud like that. I told you these companies don't care about you. And I was of the mindset, because I kind of grew up watching my dad. He was at his company for 45 years. Jeff's dad was at his company for 25, 30 years, whatever. And, you know, I was at my companies for a long time. I didn't just job hop. I didn't. The first one, I was there 10 years and I moved. That's the only reason I left there. I moved. When I got down here to Atlanta, now when I got to Atlanta, I had some growing pains and stuff because I was like, I hated the traffic. I had so many opportunities in Atlanta too. And when I first moved here in 97, you could leave one good job and go to another good job. Good jobs. What's a good job? Benefits, you know, good pay. I could leave. I left, matter of fact, I worked at SunTrust. When I first moved here, I worked at SunTrust twice. I first moved here for a year. I got sick of it. And I was like, I'm over this. I went to work at an insurance company. I worked for Hartford Insurance Company for a year. I said, I'm over the drive. Went to DHL out at the airport. Went back to SunTrust. Did my daycare. So, I mean, I've had a lot of opportunities. I love business. I've learned a lot at all these different companies. I worked at Children's Healthcare of Atlanta for 8 years. So your girl knows about, you know, working with people. I love customer service. I do. I love people, period. I love teaching. So all of those things are what brought me to my notary business. So I have no regrets in leaving. I really don't. Let me tell y'all what happened with the bank job. So I stood my ground. He's talking about we going in a different direction. I said, I ain't going in that direction. I came home. He said, take the weekend and think about it. So decisions like that, I am married. So I didn't just say, screw that, I'm going to do what I want to do. I got to come home and talk to Jeffrey, right? Because I'm helping pay some bills up in here. So I had to come home and talk to Jeffrey, and he always support anyway. He like, girl, leave that job, whatever, because he was working full time. We needed the money or I wouldn't have been working, right? So I'm not saying we didn't need it. We did need the money, but he was just always like, you can go get something else, just whatever. He's not that person like, you better stay at that job. I don't care what happened. Now, I'm the one that say that. That's not him. So anyway, I came home. I told him what happened. He said, well, just tell him what you're going to do. Whatever that is, what are you going to do? He asked me first, what are you going to do? I said, I'm not working at. He said, go back and tell him. So I went back and told my manager. I said, yeah, unfortunately, that's not going to work for me. I said, I really came over here because you told me. And again, always guys with kindness, whatever you have to say, whatever you have to do, just be kind, right? So I went over there. I told him, I went to his office. I said, yeah, unfortunately, that's not going to work. I said, I really took this job because ABC. So he found me another branch to go to. So I went to work at this other branch. I stayed there for 4 years. They couldn't stand me at the other branch because remember, what was my requirement? No weekends. No weekends. And see, I was in high demand because I was an excellent bank teller. I was a teller. I was an excellent teller and I could sell my butt off. Okay? I could sell ice to a Eskimo. Right? Because I knew my products, if I felt strongly about it. And I got to a point of certain products that I didn't want to sell because it just went against my values. Okay? And I had to tell one of my managers that. He was looking at me like, what? At that point, I got a few minutes. At that point, I had found Dave Ramsey. Dave Ramsey is a financial guru, for those of you who don't know. I'm going to get back to y'all comments. Give me 1 second, because I'm on a thought. So, my manager wanted me to sell credit cards to these young kids. And I was like, I cannot sell these kids credit cards. I'm sorry. And he was like, Kimmi. He said, no, Kimberly. He said, Kimberly, I got to remember who I am. He said, no, Kimberly, that's not your business what they do with the credit card. We just need to meet this number. And again, don't forget, now I'm your number one salesperson. I won a trip. I won all kind of prizes. I mean, number one in everything when it came to sales. So he's telling me your number's going to suffer. I'm like, no, they're not. I don't sell people stuff they don't need. And if I did find out that a young person needed a credit card, I had to sell it to them in such a way where I could sleep at night. So what did that look like? I'm like, Johnny, come in, want a credit card. I'm like, Johnny, okay, I'm going to tell you about credit right quick. I'm going to get him a crash course in credit before you even apply for it. Okay? Only use a certain amount. Don't go over this threshold. Pay it off. I mean, it was a whole situation before I would even give them the credit card. Okay? Application. And it wasn't my child. I had nothing to do with it. I know on campuses they give people credit cards for a box of pizza or a t-shirt or whatever, right? By this point, I had found Dave Ramsey. So like I said, it's going against what I'm believing financially at this point. I'm like, I don't do that. So I'm not going to tell you to do that. Or I have did that and I don't want to see that for you. Anything you can name with money, your girl did it. Okay. Back in the day. So once I learned, I wanted to educate other people. Same thing with the notary space. Once I learned, I had to crack the code myself. When I first started becoming a notary, it was some YouTubers out there like it is right now, but it was a lot of them, but they would never give you the secret sauce or tell you what to do. That's one thing people always say about my videos. They always say, can you tell us everything? So they figure there's nothing else for them to learn. Well, that's not true. I can tell you everything I know. You still won't be able to. 90% of you put it together because you just need it put together structurally. You need us to help you with it. That's just facts. You know, it's all kind of notary information. You got your notary handbook. So why you need mentorship? Those that are in mentorship will tell you why. They didn't know what they didn't know. They didn't know what they weren't supposed to know or what they should know, you know? And some things that we provide in the mentorship, a lot of things are experienced. Once we learned it, now we can teach it to you. So you can take 5, 6, 7 years, 10 years and try to figure it out, or we can give it to you in an hour. You'd be good to go. Okay? So let's get these comments really quick. We got Robin. So Robin, take your time though. You know, don't just quit your day job. Don't just quit. We did not just quit. We worked ourselves into it. So do not just quit your day job, okay? But is it a reality? It could happen? Yes. The math does math. If you're willing to do loan modifications, if you're willing to do power of attorneys and fingerprinting, apostilles, all of the this and that in the business, you can make $300 a day. $385 a day is $10,000 a month. But do you even need that much? Let's be real. Most people ain't making that right now. That's why I did a whole video. Do you make $50 an hour? And most people don't. So they complain about a $50 loan signing and they only make $50. They make $10 an hour at their job. I'm not shading the person that makes $10 an hour. What I'm saying is, let's just be realistic. If you're making $10 or $15 over here and you can make $30 for a 10-minute assignment, let's do the math, right? It may not be $150 like it was when I started. Most of my assignments are not $150. They're not, but they all add up. If I do 5 or 10 $50 assignments, that's $500. So we got to get back to basic math. Okay, let's see. So take your time. Daniel Garrison. Hey, Daniel. Daniel says, good morning, Kimmi. I work full-time for the state of California and can only perform notary duties after work or the weekends, which is few, but I still get swamped after work. Retirement will be busy. Right. Daniel, know what I'm talking about. So see, that's what I'm saying. If you are the person that can only work on the weekends and the evenings, get it when you can. I got somebody right now, they get alerts all day. They work full time. They can't do those jobs. So if you can't do it, you can't do it. You can only be in one place. You are not Clark Kent. So, and that's okay. As your business grows, you might even decide one day, you know what? I think I can go full time and do this. I might be able to. Or ease into it. Take your full-time job and go part-time. Take your full-time job and go PRN and work your business. So I did that. I'll be at the hospital making appointments on the phone. It'd be the funniest thing. So my job when I left the hospital was called Family Experience. So I'm walking around and I would have my little earbud in my ear because basically what I did, Family Experience, was just that. I'm going in and out of the rooms, making sure the client had the patient's family had a good experience at the hospital. It was a bomb job, y'all. If I ever go back to the hospital, I'll go right back there. I love that job. I just left because of COVID and my business ended up blowing up. So anyway, so that's the only reason I left that job. But I would be at work making appointments. I had my earbud in, and at that point, Jeffrey had his notary commission too. So we tag teaming that baby. If you got a family member 18 years or older, we tag teaming. So I'm on the phone, got my thing in my ear. I was like, what's how you need that appointment? And my friends would be cracking up. My teammates at work too, they'd be laughing. They'd be like, you making appointments? I'm like, sure, Skippy. So I got my thing in my ear. I'm walking around. I'm like, okay, so what time you need that notary, please? And I'll text Jeffrey and say, hey, such and such about to call you. Or again, if I couldn't do it, I'm texting Angela. I'm like, hey, and she would hear me at work too. It used to be so funny, but I'm texting her. I'm like, hey, got this assignment, this job. So somebody getting the money. We ain't letting the money leave these hands, okay? It's either going to go in my pocketbook, their pocketbook, his pocketbook, whatever. But we keeping the money on this side of town. How about that? So Daniel says, I have a question. I have other stamps that I have never used, like notary wording or certify. I never certify anything yet. Have you? Oh, yes, all the time. Now, in California, it's always different now. Always different. So you got to make sure your verbiage is correct. So you talking about certifying copies. Yes, I do that all day long. However, in your state, it's a little bit different. So I'm going to push back for you to check your handbook. Okay. But keep your certified copy stamps. Do not throw any of those stamps out. I have a certified copy stamp. I have like 3 videos on this channel about all my extra stamps. So I have a certified copy stamp. I have an acknowledgement stamp. I have a jurat stamp. And that's instead of using the actual paper jurat or acknowledgement, in case I had to add it to a document. Why would you have to add it to a document? Somebody may say that's if the document doesn't have the verbiage on here. We got a lot of new people. Welcome everybody. If you got some questions, let me take these last few minutes and get all your questions answered. Please, I see we got a lot of people, so just hop right in there with your questions. Angela says I have to take appointments after 5. Here's another person working full time. They are doing the thing. Congratulations to you people that are working full time and still growing your business. That takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of courage. It's a lot of work. When you get off at 5 o'clock, you want to go home and lay down. I get that, but you guys are growing your business, okay? And I've been a hustler too. And this hustler is not a bad word, guys. I believe in getting your hustle on, getting your grind on, whatever new word they want to insert. Hustler's been around a long time, and it's not always a bad word. And I am a hustler. Naturally, I did my job at the hospital. Like I just finished telling you, I have my earbud in. I'm making appointments. I'm doing jobs before I went to work. A lot of times I didn't start till 11. I'm like, where can I meet you at? I can meet you up on 78. I can meet them before I go to work. You can come here before I go. I got my money, okay? And that's how I use my money too, to buy my printers and my supplies. I didn't do grants and loans and all this fancy stuff I be hearing about. 3 payments this, 4 payments that. I don't even offer that in my notary business for you guys. I'm not putting you in no debt, okay? I could have offered that. Even I can offer it right now, matter of fact. Afterpay and all this. No, I think I got it on one product. That's the website. But other than that, we ain't getting you in debt where you got it. I told y'all, I walk the walk, okay? I ain't having you do something that I don't do. I ain't paying no 5 monthly payments for no notary course. Okay? I ain't making you do that either. I've never did that. If you either you can afford it or you can't. Okay? Now, was it an option? Is it a bad thing necessarily? Somebody offer you afterpay, split pay, and all this other stuff? Is it necessarily bad? No. Is it a business move? Heck yeah. Because more people would say, yeah, let me get that $500 course. I can split it in 5 payments. I don't roll like that. I just don't. I didn't do it when I was at the bank, and I'm darn sure not going to do it in my notary business, Notary Educators. If you can afford your $47, come on through. If you cannot, wait until you can. I'm not offering split pay on that. I'm not offering a $500-$600 course and you got to do split pay for the rest of your life. No, I just don't. Now, do that mean I could grow faster? Yeah. Could I be doing it a little bit slower and crazy? Yeah. Would I like to offer all that? Yeah. But I just don't, for real, because I really want you guys to win. And I know you can't win if you got to do a split pay of $200 this week, $200 next week, and your client call you to book an appointment. You trying to charge them $400 so you can pay for everything. Not. Because when you have all that extra debt on you, you can't make moves as a smooth business owner, right? I would shake and move differently if I owed $50,000 in my notary business, right? The tone would be different. I could not have the empathy and care I have about you as a person, because I'm really worried about, I got this $50,000 I owe over here. You need to help me pay my bill, right? No. So that's why I don't even offer all of that. I just don't. And again, I'm not shading other people that do. It's an excellent business move. It really is. But again, for me, it's not just all business. It's just not. My reputation is so important to me. It is. All you got is your name. That's it. So shout out. Angela said, me too, we ain't no punks. I forgot what we was talking about. Oh, I think with work, yeah. I love it. Angela said we ain't no punks. I love it. Hyra says like teller, like a teller. Oh, I don't know what that is, Hyra. You gotta tell me what that is. Graveling, not here. Right. Teller. Oh, teller, like a teller. Teller, bank teller. Is that what you're referring to, Hyra? I was a teller, bank teller. Teller. That's my Detroit thing coming out. Relationships. Yes, totally agree. Mocha Pam. Hyra says, it shows you are the best. Thank you so much. Lori W says she loved Dave Ramsey. Yes, girl, I'm a Dave Ramsey person. Angela says you taught young people what they needed to know. What a blessing. Most of them listen to you and are grateful for listening. Yes, seriously, real talk. This is why your business is blessed. Seriously, thank you. And that's why, seriously, even when I was at the bank, people would thank me for taking a few extra minutes. Even my older clients, a lot of them didn't know why they were doing all this stuff the fancy bank would have you do. Because their banks were taught borrow, right? They don't tell you what's going to happen if you don't pay it back. Okay? They don't tell you that part. Yeah, we're going to take your house if you don't pay back that second mortgage. What is a second mortgage? You know you can't do anything with your house until the second mortgage is paid off, right? Take the home equity. Take the equity, right? Now, we don't advise people as notaries. I did not advise people when I was in the banking world what to do, but I gave them options. I made sure they knew about what they were doing, okay? And that's why I said I sleep at night. I slept at night then. I sleep at night right now because I know I ain't took nobody's money. I ain't did nothing shady. So I rest very well. Don't I look rested? Don't I look rested? All right, let's see what else we got. Lunch break, money, yes. All right, Diana says, hello, I have been notary rotary for 4 years. Finally ready to take my business seriously. I have only did car titles. What suggestions do you have to start to grow? First of all, Diana, I want to make sure you know what you're doing before you try to grow, because I hear people want to grow. Do you did just car titles? Do you do loan signings? Do you do power of attorneys? Do you do estate? Do you do all that? If you ain't doing all that, you haven't been trained on all that, just pump the brakes and get some training. Okay, check out. You can buy the courses individually at Notary Educators, 60% off. Coupon code is WIN 2025 WIN 2025. So you can buy them separately, but first make sure you're trained before you start trying to do all this different stuff, okay? Mentorship is a game changer. Thank you, Hyra. Hyra's asking, it will help you so much. Yeah, it's true, for real. If you really want to go next level, you got to get in mentorship. And again, 2025, no excuses, y'all. No excuses. Sabrina says, I feel a little embarrassed to ask, but what? I'm a new notary and was wondering when to use an acknowledgement or a jurat. I've heard different things. Yes, Sabrina, you need to be in mentorship, honey. You need to be in mentorship. If you're asking that question, it lets me know. And don't be embarrassed, honey. It's just letting me know that you need training. You need mentorship. Okay? Either you're going to self-teach or let us help you. But I'll tell you right quick, an acknowledgement or a jurat, those are your notarial duties. Sometimes you'll need an additional form to fill out if it's not already on the paper. But that is your notarial duty. You have to fill it out or you have to administer an oath. Okay? So you need mentorship, honey. All right? Please don't start stamping any papers. Sabrina, please don't start doing anything until you learn the business. I promise you, you will thank me later, okay? Please promise me you won't do anything until you get some training. Angela says your prices are affordable. I love it. Thank you. You are so welcome, Angela. Yeah, and we try to keep it affordable. Like I said, Angela says, I once asked a bank teller about a streamlined mortgage. She looked at me like a deer in the headlights. Yeah, I mean, and we're there just to, just to say, oh, thank you. She said you look fabulous. Thank you. I appreciate it. A little dressed up today. That's why I was like, let me go ahead and get this live on. Jeffrey was like, live on a Sunday? I'm like, yeah, I work 7 days a week. And you got to get it when you can get it. And I wake up looking like this. So I had washed my hair yesterday. I'm going to somebody's house later on. We're going to do karaoke tonight. So your girl does enjoy some time. I'm going to do karaoke tonight. Thank you, though, Angela. I appreciate it. Diana says, thank you. Mokasin, do you recommend doing the course first or mentorship? Well, the courses are included in the mentorship program. So I highly recommend take your time and look at the program in its entirety, okay? Look at what's all included. It's very clearly written. You won't have to guess. Like anything I do here, it's uncomplicated. So look at the description. It's going to tell you everything you get. And we're actually meeting tomorrow night, okay? Well, guys, I'm going to head out of here, but I appreciate each one of you. I want to encourage you to continue on your notary journeys. Continue building your business. Don't let nobody stop your dream. They may think you can do it. They may not. We don't care what they think. Who are they? Who are they? Do what you want to do to succeed, okay? Well, until later, guys, on behalf of Notary Educators with Kimmi, I'm going to wish you a happy, happy Sunday. Bye, guys.
Thanks for tuning in to the Notary Educators with Kimmi podcast. We hope you found today's episode helpful and inspiring as you build your notary business. Don't forget to explore our all-inclusive $47 monthly training notary library for more resources to expand your skills and services. Stay connected with us on YouTube at Notary Educators with Kimmi for even more tips, tricks, and industry insights. Be sure to subscribe and share this podcast with others who want to succeed in the notary field. Until next time, keep growing and learning, and take your notary business to the next level. See you soon! Don't forget, for all things notary related, visit notaryeducatorsllc.com.